Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Mainline Unitarian Church. I am Dr. Tracy Simpson, a member of your Board of Trustees. It's my first time. It's so good to be with you this morning. Whether you are here in person or joining us online, I'm also delighted to welcome any visitors today. Please join us after the service for coffee and conversation across the hall in the fireside room so we can get to know you. We come together in love to support one another as we seek spiritual growth, connection, and more fulfilled lives. Our actions together create a more just, compassionate, and equitable world. Through our individual Unitarian Universalist journeys, we are guided by 7 principles, including the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, compassion, and acceptance of one another. This is a place where we gather to support each other, and you are welcome here. Leading today's service, we welcome Yvette McDonnell, our Congregational Life Coordinator and our Ministerial Intern, and Nathan Surles with his voice and guitar and fiddle. Our esteemed media team, thank you very much. And I will also be your worship associate today, double duty. Please join me now in affirming our mission statement. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
Like an Andy Warhol painting, the sun can shine when it's raining. Like a Pablo Picasso sculpture, made for romantic lovers. Like a William Shakespeare play, moonlit shadow on a Chesapeake Bay. Like a Bob Dylan poem, the night scars can be dim. Pictures in a gallery wall where paintbrush canvas we can draw. All this is not enough to explain an art of love, an art of love, an art of love. Like a Robert Redford movie, dinner with you on Tuesdays. Like a Paula Abdul dance, standing ovation for performance. Like a Barbra Streisand song, Broadway stage without sing-along. Like a Billy Joel piano, burning fire hot as a volcano. Pictures in a gallery wall where paintbrush canvas we can draw. All this is not enough to explain an art of love. An art of love. An art of love. Pictures in a gallery wall where paintbrush canvas we can draw. All this is not enough to explain an art of love. An art of love. An art of love.
Here at MLUC, the Flaming Chalice is our central symbol representing hope, the sacred reason, truth, community, and social justice. When we light the chalice, it evokes feelings of love, connection, and a shared commitment to these values. It is a reminder of our congregation's shared journey and aspirations, and a symbol of the diverse paths that converge here in our community of faith. Would you please rise now in body or spirit? Join us in hymn number 346 in the big dark blue book, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Good morning. Good morning. Today's time for our religious story is one of my, yes. Oh, yes, I don't have a mic. So I guess I'll stand up here. So I said good morning. And this morning, our Time for All Ages story is one of my favorites. It's called Stone Soup. How many of you know a version of this folkloric story, Stone Soup? Great. So we're going to read that today in a bit. It's up? Okay, great. One day, there was this traveler, and he was so cold and lonely, and he showed up to a village, and he carried with him a knapsack filled with kindling and an empty iron pot. The village seemed quite unfriendly at first. However, even though the streets were empty and every window and door was locked, the villager still engaged. The traveler was so tired. He was so hungry. He walked from house to house, knocking on each door, and he heard, or at least he thought he heard, somebody on the inside. He thought he saw the curtain move, but no one answered. But that didn't stop the villager. The traveler did not give up. He walked to another house and knocked again. This time, a woman and her 3 small children came to the door. "Hello," said the traveler. "I am looking for a place to rest my head and a little bite to eat. Can you please help me?" "No," said the woman. "We have not any food for days. My own children are hungry. You should just go to the next village." The traveler smiled and said, My, you are in worse shape than I am. Not to worry. I will happily share my stone soup with you. All we need is water for my pot and fire." So quickly the children gathered the water and the wood for the fire. The traveler used the kindling to start his soup. Soon they had a bright, cheery fire, and the water in the pot began to boil. The traveler pulled out 3 stones from his pocket and dropped them one by one into the pot. Plop, plop, plop. The woman could not believe her eyes. "A soup from stones?" she asked. "Why, yes," the traveler said. "It is quite delicious. Although, it would be just a little bit tastier if we had a little bit of salt and some herbs to throw in there." Said the woman. "I may have some salt and herbs in my kitchen." As the woman added the herbs and the salt to the pot, the door of her neighbor's house opened, and a man and a son came out. "What are you doing?" asked the son. "Well, we are making stone soup," answered the traveler. "A soup from stones?" asked the father. "Why, yes," said the traveler. "It is quite delicious. Although, it might be just a little bit tastier if we had some vegetables." Daddy, said the son, "I think we have some carrots and potatoes under the stairs." And the villagers started coming out one by one, adding carrots and potatoes to the pot. The smell of the soup lifted the air. A window opened and an elderly woman came out, and she said, "Why, what do we have going on down here?" "Well, we're making stone soup," they all replied. "A soup from stones?" asked the elderly woman. "Yes," said the traveler. "It is quite delicious. And, you know, it might be just a little bit tastier if we just had a little bit of meat." "Well, you don't say," said the elderly woman. "Well, I happen to have some." And one by one, the villagers opened their doors, and they each brought a little something to add to the stone soup. And when the pot was full, the villagers offered bread and butter and other goodies to go with the meal. One villager even offered apple cider. The traveler exclaimed, "This will be a meal fit for a king." The villagers and the traveler sat together, and they enjoyed a delicious meal made from those 3 stones. Their tummies were full of food, and their hearts were full of joy. They declared to one another, "Who would have imagined such a meal? The stones must be magic." The traveler answered, No, there's no magic in these stones. Each of us shared just a little, and together we have made a feast." The traveler at dawn decided to pack his things and go along to the next village. He waved and shouted, "Thank you," until he was out of sight. And as he started walking, he said, "What shall we eat today?" At this time, can we have the youth and the children join Henry out in the atrium, and let us sing the children out.
The recipient of our August offering outreach is our longtime partner, Family Promise of MontCo, PA and the Main Line. Thanks to community support like ours, Family Promise has helped hundreds of families in Montgomery County find hope, stability, and a path to self-sufficiency. Housing and food insecurity touch every zip code in the county. Compassion, community, and action like ours can make all the difference. Families entering the Interfaith Hospitality Network Emergency Shelter receive comprehensive support to help them move towards permanent housing, increase their income, and build their assets. Case managers guide families in building life skills and connecting them to resources that support their ability to be more self-sufficient. This year, one of the fathers in the shelter program earned extra money by delivering flowers for local businesses on Valentine's Day, started a new job, and then successfully completed forklift training. A young mother is working in the kitchen at a senior care facility with the goal of participating in their certified nursing assistant program. Another mother in the shelter has achieved an important health and wellness goal for herself and her family. This organization's work illustrates the UU values of interdependence, equity, justice, and generosity. To make a cashless donation, whether watching remotely or here in the sanctuary, please follow the instructions you see on the screen or on the back page of the order of service. The offering will now be greatly received. Will the ushers please come forward?
There is a smile that lifts you up. The air's as thin as a neutrino's trace. You can see through space and time where the bang began. My eyes can see the party now. The flash of light and red balloons separating all that is and will ever be. We are all as ancient things, forged in stars and spun in swings. We are nothing but nothing without love. She holds the hand of an endless flame. Well, she and her mom walk through the fields. They look through the sky to connect all of the dots. This one's a hunter, that one's a bear. This one's a nebula, a mother of suns. No darkness can take this tiny fire of a night. We are old as ancient things, forged in stars and spun in swings. We are nothing but nothing without love. Whoa, whoa. The dust of all these things is gathering before their eyes, but the light of these fires means nothing without love. We are old as ancient things, forged in stars, spun in swings. We are nothing but nothing without love. We are old as ancient things, forged in stars and spun in swings. We are nothing but nothing without love.
It is our custom to share our personal joys and sorrows, expecting to be heard, accepted, and supported. Candles of Community is our ritual of personal sharing and support. After each candle, would you please join me in saying, "We hold you in our hearts." Please join me this morning in lighting a candle for our minister, Reverend John Morehouse, who had a recent accident and fractured his left leg. He is at home, across the parkway here, with his wife Frances, recuperating while undergoing scans and doctor's appointments to determine the best course of treatment. John will remain largely sequestered this August to focus on his recovery as he follows the doctor's no weight-bearing guidance. His recovery is expected to take more than 3 months. John is planning to balance work and recovery this fall, ever more thankful that he lives next door, and for the many ways to stay connected remotely to us. For John and Frances, we hold you in our hearts. Carol Hillman lights a candle of remembrance and shares that we lost from this earth Isaac Field earlier this week. Please hold his brothers Graham and Mac and his parents Steve and Cheryl close in your hearts as they navigate through this unexpected and sudden loss. For Graham, Mac, Steve, and Cheryl, we hold you in our hearts. Yvette McDonnell lights a candle of support for Marley Marshall, who reached out to let her know that she is currently at the Paoli Hospital being treated for babesiosis, which is a tick-borne disease. Marley expects to be home by tomorrow. For Marley and her family, we hold you in our hearts. Paul Costa and Mia Carpinello light a candle of gratitude after their friend suffered a serious heart attack but survived and is now on the mend. They are thankful for the work of the medical professionals who brought their friend back from the brink and for a little bit of luck that intervened on their behalf. For Paul, Mia, and their friend and the family, we hold you in our hearts. And for all joys and sorrows too deep for words, we light a candle and we hold you in our hearts. Thank you.
Today, our reflective reading comes from an excerpt from the book A Path with Heart by James Kornfield. It is possible to speak with our heart directly. Most ancient cultures know this. We can actually converse with our heart as if it were a good friend. In modern time, we have become so busy in our daily lives, in our daily affairs and thoughts, that we have lost this essential art of taking the time to converse with our heart. Thank you.
Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Take you to the temple tonight. All my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Through the books and the Bibles of time, and I've made up my mind. I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is a calling, haven't you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fold, 'cause no one's gonna lose their soul. And love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Don't wanna fight. Hey, let's go fly a kite. There's nothing that we can't cure. I'll keep you in my arms for sure. Don't let nobody stop us. Free spirits have to soar. With you I share my gift, the gift that we know. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Well, I'm done searching now. I found out what this life is worth. Not in the books did I find, but by searching my mind. I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is a calling, haven't you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fold, 'cause no one's gonna lose their soul. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. Love is my religion. All you need is love. There's nothing you can say that can't be sung. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. All you need is love. All you need is love.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for your musical talents today. It's such a perfect gift, and it's such a great pleasure to work with you today. Yeah, thanks. Welcome, welcome, and welcome in, beloved community, to our sacred time of fellowship today. Welcome each and every one of you, and hello to all of you who are joining us online today. Today we are going to be continuing our journey from last week, right? This is a two-part series here, and we have been reflecting on our Unitarian Universalist values with love at the center. And as I shared last week, love is not this stagnant thing, right? Love is actually a breathing, living being that is dynamic. And it's dynamic in our faith. And as Unitarian Universalists, we belong to a living tradition, and our beliefs are extremely diverse and inclusive. And to be a people of a living tradition, that means we open ourselves up to change, to new experiences, and to have deeper understandings of life. And we move and grow as the world moves and grows. And we have the ability to adapt. Right? We evolve, and we do this collectively. We do this together. And as I shared last week, and I'll share again this week, at General Assembly in June of 2024, we witnessed a transformative moment as Article 2 was passed, replacing our 7 and 8 principles. And now we have these 6 values, all centered around love. And last week, does anybody remember what we talked about last week? Which ones we covered? Jet pig is a hint. So we did justice, equity, and transformation, right. So this thing called love is the power that holds us together at the center. And we are called to be accountable to one another for doing the work of our living tradition. And these 6 values that are centered around love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity can act as guides to connect us to ourselves, to connect us to our community, and to connect us to the world around us. And as I said last week, we gather to reflect on the values of justice, equity, and transformation, the first part of Jet Pig. And this week, we are still centering the presence of love, and we are centering it through pluralism, interdependence, and generosity this week. And in order for us to truly connect and understand the meaning of pluralism, we must first open our hearts to the spirit of diversity. Now, before I continue, I'm just curious, how many of you have heard this word pluralism before? Yeah, right. How many of us know what it really means? Right? Yeah. Kinda, a little bit, yes. Some of us, yes. Great. So I think before we really get into understanding and talking about pluralism, we're just going to take a step back and talk about diversity and how these two concepts of diversity and pluralism are woven together. So diversity, in its essence, is this magnificent variety of creation, right? It's a tapestry of people and beliefs, religions, political values, foods, cultures, languages, ethnicities, nations, and on and on and on, right? It's also found in our living ecosystems. So diverse trees, right? Plants, animals, insects, and bodies of water. And all of these things, all of this diversity is reflecting the infinite imagination of creation, right? So we're just going to go a little bit deeper. And why pluralism and diversity are connected, and why we hold pluralism as one of our values. And we hold pluralism as one of our values because we, as Unitarian Universalists, affirm that every soul is sacred. Each and every one of us are unique and are an expression of divine love. We are diverse in culture. We are diverse in experience. We are diverse in our theology or no theology. We covenant in the spirit of spiritual community to learn from one another, right? We covenant to learn from one another, and in that we are able to be free. And because we are able to be free, we have a responsibility to search for truth and meaning in that freedom. We embrace our differences and our commonalities with love and curiosity and respect. That's a gift, right? I consider it to be a gift. And to covenant to learn from one another in search of truth and meaning, that takes time, right? It takes us to be vulnerable with one another. And how do we fulfill this sacred calling, right? To live into love and to hold pluralism as one of our values. How do we do that? Has anybody heard of the Pluralism Project at Harvard University? If you have an opportunity, I would really like to invite you to go online just to kind of take a look at the work that they've been doing. It's amazing. It's called the Pluralism Project, Harvard University. And according to the Pluralism Project, pluralism is not diversity alone, okay? Pluralism is an energetic engagement with diversity, right? That's the key. These are the key words. Energetic engagement. The Pluralism Project of Harvard explains that pluralism is not about tolerance, right? We've heard those words before, right? Pluralism is not about tolerance, but it is about actively seeking out to understand across the lines of differences. We often hear that tolerance is this necessary virtue in our society, and indeed, tolerance does have its place, but it's not the thing, right? It's not the thing. And tolerance alone keeps us at a distance, right? It distances us from having the opportunity to get to know one another better. It allows us to share, pluralism allows us to share space. It permits, for example, Christians and Muslims and Jews and secularists to be on the same street, right? And have an opportunity to get to know one another, okay? Our Unitarian Universalist values invite us beyond tolerance. It invites us into a genuine relationship. It invites us into understanding. It invites us in to do the sacred. It invites us in to do the messy, hard work that it takes to love at the center and to hold these values to be true. And there was this paper that I read at the Pluralist Project. It was a paper on the historical movements of theology. And it said that tolerance is too thin of a foundation for a world of religious differences, diversity, and proximity. Tolerance, it does nothing to remove our ignorance of one another, and it leaves in place stereotypes. It leaves in place half-truths. It leaves in place fears that underline old patterns of division and violence. See, pluralism is the active engagement with diversity, and it involves us seeking and understanding across the lines of difference. It requires us to abandon our old beliefs. It requires us to believe and hold love at the center of the work that we do. Pluralism is a conversation, and it's a conversation that's going to ebb and flow through deep listening in order for each of us to gain a better understanding of one another. And it means showing up with love at the center as one's own commitment. This call to active engagement does not live in some margins of a theory, right? It's really active and alive in our own community. It's a living reality. And I shared with you all, I think at one Sunday, for over 20 years, and this is just an example, right? There's plenty of examples that we can see in our community. But for over 20 years, Zion Baptist Church, Beth Am Israel, and Mainline Reform have collaborated together to celebrate the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. And each year, these congregations host an interfaith Shabbat service on Friday night. And it's followed then by an interfaith service at Zion Baptist Church on Sunday. And then they do service work all together that Monday. And these gatherings, it's not just about ceremonies, right? They are actually living and breathing this type of active engagement of change. There's another, and I'm kind of going off, and Rick, do I have permission to share a little bit? Is that okay? Yeah. I would have emailed you, but I kind of didn't have a chance to. But Rick, who's an MLUC member here, Rick McKnight, is a part of a group that's doing just this, right? It's a group of people who are getting together online since COVID, correct? Yeah? Yeah? and they get together, these diverse group of people, and have a conversation about all kinds of things. Race is one of them. That's what active engagement looks like. They're actively talking, actively learning about one another. They're going deeper. That's another example of what's happening right here in our community. And the commitment to radical engagement shows up each and every month when Reverend John and I, we have an opportunity to go to different places of worship around town, because we are a part of the Upper Mainline Interfaith Alliance. And this is where faith leaders from the mosque, the synagogues, the churches, and local service agencies gather to build bridges of understanding. And these are just some ways we practice our commitment to love at the center with our neighbors of diverse faith and traditions. So pluralism is not only about understanding the many ways of knowing, but how we each can connect to one another's human existence. Now, what happens in a world where we don't center love and we don't participate with pluralism? Well, when we do that, we do not have the opportunity to share in the humanity of one another. And sadly to say, we are also bearing witness currently of what that looks like. And I don't really need to say too much more about that. And that's why it's really important to also hold interdependence as part of our values and hold it with love at the center. Interdependence is so vital in times like today. It calls us to honor the sacred web of existence. And deep ecology reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but we are these vibrant threads woven into a beautiful, picturesque tapestry. I love poetry and imagery, right? So that's how I see interdependence playing out. And we are just a small piece of the greater good. Our values encourage us to be committed to creating and nurturing relationships founded on care, respect, and mutual understanding. And when we fall short, because we will, or if we make a mistake, because we do, restorative justice empowers us to heal. Restorative justice allows us to make amends and to become agents of change. Interdependence is beautifully expressed in wisdoms of many African traditions. I am because you are. Have you all heard that one? Yeah. And that truth resonates deeply within my own African American heritage, because we have a very similar saying: if I succeed, if I do well, we all do well. And I'm sure you've heard, what we do to one, we do to all, and we do to ourselves. So we are part of this shared web of connection, shaping one another's lives through actions and intentions. And to fully embody our UU values, we are invited to recognize and honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And it's reflected in an ancient greeting in Sanskrit, Namaste. Do you all know that? Namaste? Right. That means the light in me honors the light that is within you. Friends, it is that sense of shared sacredness. It is that sense of shared sacredness that offers us this deep respect and care for one another. It's a place that love finds its home at the center of our community. And our last value of generosity is seen between the traveler and the villagers of the story of Stone Soup. The villagers, one by one, brought what they had, and collectively it was enough. The traveler had faith in humanity, that they would be fed and taken care of. And this notion of faith, this notion that the traveler had faith, it gave the villagers an opportunity to be generous with their resources. The traveler and the villagers didn't just make soup that day. They created a relationship. They created a relationship of mutual care. That is the kind of symbiotic relationship we are meant to embody. The humanity of the traveler and the villagers was rooted in faith and understanding and generosity and a sense of beloved community for the moment. They were a blessing and a gift to one another. And as I close, I would like to invite each and every one of you to look inward and truly consider, what are you bringing to our stone soup pot? What are you bringing to our stone soup here at MLUC? And how are you featuring our new values with love at the center? How will you take action into justice? Even when the path is not easy, how will you show up for equity, ensuring every person's dignity is honored? How will you open yourself to transformation, allowing yourself and your community to grow and be changed for the better? How will you move beyond simply welcoming in diversity to actively engaging and embodying pluralism, reaching out and listening and learning from those stories and beliefs that are different from your own? In what ways will you honor interdependence, recognizing that we are all woven together in a shared experience? And finally, how will you practice generosity? Not just in material things, not just with your money, but with your compassion, your presence, your love. What is just one thing you can bring to our stone soup with our UU values at the center? Just one. This time, I would like to invite you to please rise in body, mind, or spirit for our closing hymn, 1029. Love knocks and waits for us to hear. Thank you. You may be seated. As we go forth today into the world, I leave you with the values prayer, inspired by St. Francis and written by UU Minister Christopher Buse. Make us an instrument of your peace. Where there is indifference, may we bring justice. Where there is selfishness, may we bring equity. Where there is stagnation, may we bring transformation. Where there is isolation, may we bring interdependence. Where there is greed, may we bring generosity. And where there is hatred, may we bring love. Make us an instrument of your peace with love at the center of everything we do. Amen. Ashe, and may it be so. Please enjoy our postlude by Nathan and David as they sing Bold as Love by Jimi Hendrix.
Quick correction. The Art of Love was written by Aubrey Watkins. If that's in your bulletin, it says my name, but I just wanted to make that correction. This one I definitely did not write. Anger, he smiles, towering in shiny metallic purple armor. Queen jealousy, envy waits behind him. A fiery green gown sneers at the grassy ground. Blue, all the life-giving waters taken for granted. They quietly understand. Once happy turquoise army lay opposite and ready, but wonder why the fight is on. But they're all bold as love. Yeah, they're all bold as love. They're all bold as love. just ask the Axis. My red is so confident that he flashes trophies of war and ribbons of euphoria. Orange is young, full of daring, but very unsteady for the first go-round. My yellow in this case is not so mellow. In fact, I'm trying to say it's frightened like me. And all of these emotions of mine keep holding me from giving my life to a rainbow like you. But I'm bold, bold as love. Yeah, I'm bold, bold as love. Yeah, I'm bold, bold as love. Just ask the Axis.